So as someone who's never been deeply religious or involved or active with my faith, I have found myself at a breaking point emotionally, spiritually, physically. Like, I'm just exhausted. And I was driving around on this Easter Sunday, and I realized that I didn't have anyone. And I was on the phone with a dear friend of mine, and she kind of expressed some similar feelings as far as like frustrations with her family and whatnot, and just being emotionally spent. And after I got off the phone with her, I decided I was going to come to my favorite place where I know that it's peaceful and I'm able to clear my head. And I sat here and I journaled. And it wasn't so much a journaling session as it was a cry to God. I parked probably 4 miles away, and I was just power hiking and listening to music. Not my normal angry rock and rage music that all my friends will tell you I listen to. But it was hymns, like new age hymns, I would call them, worship music. And I heard a song by an artist named Aaron Shust. It was an old song. I had known this song previously in my life, and when it came on, I just kind of lost it. Right there, in the middle of a trail, in the middle of the woods, nobody around. And as I'm sitting there just literally crying out to God, I felt peace. And I was reminded of a verse that I had written down and sort of really took to heart. It's in the Psalms. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's like Psalm 102 or something like that. But essentially the verse is, "Be still and know that I am God." And I was sitting here in the middle of this trail. I mean, you guys can look at this, right? It's been off and on raining all day. Muddy as heck. Didn't even care. I was sitting here in the middle of this trail, just letting my turmoil and, I don't want to say suffering, because obviously I'm an American. I live in America, greatest country in the world. I don't know what suffering is. But just letting out my emotional turmoil. And when I felt like I had nothing left and I was done crying out and just like weeping heavy sobs, that verse just floated into my head, completely uninvited. It wasn't like an actively dwelling on the Bible thing. Like, I just felt spent and empty, and as softly as the breeze floated in, that's how quick and gently that verse floated up from somewhere deep in the recesses of my mind. And I got up, put my worship music back on, and I kept walking. And I reached my spot, and I sat there. And then I opened my journal, and I just poured everything out. But it wasn't like when I was on the trail and I was letting it all out chaotically and one thing after another, basically trauma dumping on God. Is that even a thing? I don't know, probably. But this was clear, it was concise. Well, for the first time in a long time, I was the most level-headed that I've been in years, probably. I'm not pretending to be the most religiously sound person, but I remember so many times in sermons, having been to probably dozens of churches at this point and been underneath the leadership of many pastors, I remember through all those sermons that they would say, all you have to do is cry out to God. Cry out to Him. And I think, truly, for the first time in my life, that I did just that. I let go of everything that I was holding on to, and I just poured it out. My heart is light. My spirits are light. I just gotta have faith. God has a plan. He knows my wants, my desires. He knows where I'm lacking, and it's time for me to stop running. It's time for me to stop running. A lot of this ties into my mental health, which admittedly as of late has not been great. I've been very depressed. At times suicidal, but it's not a very common thing. And not suicidal in like I have a plan and all it takes is for me to have one bad day and I'm ready to execute. No. More suicidal in the way of, or along the lines of, if I were to die today, I wouldn't be upset about it because I'd be dead. But like, do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't fear death. Never have. But there are times where I'm ready for it. Like I'm ready to just be done. Because I'm tired in my soul. And what I've been doing is I've been smoking and drinking and trying to sleep my way through it. I have idolized money and women over everything. Whether that be my religion. I wouldn't even say my religion. I would say my relationship with God, which is non-existent at this point. Because I am a Christian, even though I live like the devil. I believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sins and rose again on the third day, which is the celebration that we're celebrating today, even though I know it's not like accurate as far as the timeline goes, and there's some dispute about that, but that's not important. So even though I am a Christian, I have been, I think the word is apostate. I think that's what they say when you're a Christian but you're going the way of the devil. I don't know. I just feel better than I have in a long time. And I have a plan, a direction. Well, kind of. But yeah. It's amazing. Like, I used to be so anti-God. Really anti anything to do with religion. And I feel like I've paid for it. I doubt many people are going to watch this. Sort of a taboo thing for a 32-year-old man to be walking through the woods talking about screaming and crying and journaling. Men's mental health has been put on the back burner for so long, and there's so many young men who are struggling. So I guess my advice to other young men struggling, or even men my age, would be to cry out to God. That emptiness you're feeling, that loneliness, it's not going to be cured overnight. It's going to be weeks, months, maybe even years. But I'll tell you one thing. Go out into the woods and just sit there in the silence. Listen to the wind, listen to the trees. Take time to calm your head, calm your heart, and think about the things that matter. At the end of the day, does it matter that you got that motorcycle or got that sports car? No, those aren't the things that matter. They say that men are mostly logical creatures. And I choose to believe that. I choose to believe that men operate based on logic. So use your head. Really figure out what you're missing in your life. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for this video from the people that know me. But I don't care. I'm tired of suffering in silence. And nobody notices. So, this is me speaking out, speaking up, and crying out, really. I'm not expecting anyone to feel pity for me or feel sad for me. I don't want that. I don't want people to feel pity or sad for me. All I want is for people to pray for me. Anyways, thank you for coming to my personal TED Talk. I truly do love each and every one of you. If you are on my friends list, it's for a reason. God bless, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Easter Sunday.